What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today, you're talking sports with MG and today, ladies and gentlemen, we got some Sixers off-season talk. Before we get into today's video, make sure you guys hit that like button if you are enjoying today's video. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the post notification bell so you don't miss any videos that happen on the channel, whether it's Philly sports or other sports around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, now before we get into today's video, I want to say first off, we ain't do this in a while. I haven't sat down on a video format just to talk Sixers basketball in so long, but we are here and we're going to bring this a little bit more consistent throughout the offseason because, as you guys know, free agency is coming up on us, ladies and gentlemen, and it's a wild free agency class. Well, not as far as superstar power. It's not like LeBron James and, Stephen Curry and Kawhi Leonard. They're not all free agents, but as far as what I mean by wild is, it's like the rumors, the trades, the signing trades, the free agent signings, everything that could possibly happen is wild. So I'm here to talk about my favorite team, the Sixers side of it, the Sixers free agency and off-season plans. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you all know by now, obviously the draft is past us. We know the Sixers traded their pick for D'Anthony Melton, which I've talked about throughout, other live streams and other channel sources around the platform. So most of you guys know how I feel about that. But just to go on quick and briefly, I think, the D'Anthony Melton acquiring him, I think it was really good for the team because you didn't have a bench player like D'Anthony Melton last year on the Sixers roster. What D'Anthony Melton brings is, first of all, a younger player than what Danny Green was. Shout out to Danny Green too. He wasn't the worst here. Best of luck wherever you are in the future, whether you stay in Memphis or wherever the case may be. But he's gonna be younger than what Danny Green was, so that is a plus right there. You got a guy who is capable of shooting the ball, has great athletic abilities too, and he's a really good rebounder for being a 6'2" guard coming off the bench. So that's something you're gonna get from him. You're gonna get a lot of energy plays. You're gonna get a lot of electric fast break plays. So in the Sixers, they kind of need that. They need that juice. They need that spark off the bench because we haven't been getting that off the bench consistently all year. We've had flashes of Shake Milton. We've had flashes of Cork Maz or whoever the case may be. We've seen a lot of great plays from George Niang this season, but we never had that throughout an 82-game season from game 1 to 82, that sixth man to come off the bench and be consistent night in and night out. It's always been streaky or flashy or whatever the case may be. So that's what you're going to get from D'Anthony Melton. But let's talk about the plans that the 76ers have going into free agency, because Daryl Morey did have a press conference after the draft. He kind of couldn't talk about the D'Anthony Melton trade yet when he had that press conference, and that was because, the trade wasn't 100% official yet. So, but he was talking about, the offseason and plans and James Harden. So we're going to start off with James Harden before we get into other free agents and stuff. James Harden, it looks like he's going to sign a 2-year short-term deal here, and it makes sense. There's no point for him or the team to sign a long-term deal when he's already in his 30s, getting older and older. So a 2-year deal makes the most sense. I literally said that as soon as our season ended. I said I want to sign James Harden to a 2-year deal, and look, the rumors are and the speculation is that he's going to sign that deal, a 2-year deal. Now, the price is still undisclosed. We don't know it yet, but, we'll see what happens. So that's good. I'm fine with that, and we'll see what happens. We'll see if he comes back with a vengeance next year. But let's talk about the big topic, the guys you see next to me on the screen here. You got two guys who've been heavily rumored to join the 76ers. You got PJ Tucker, forward from the Heat, and then you got Eric Gordon, shooting guard from the Rockets. Two veteran guys who have actually played with James Harden before in Houston, as most of you may know. They've played with him throughout all the playoff runs, playoff success, and playoff downfalls that Houston's had. So they know James Harden really well. Eric Gordon's a veteran three-point shooter who, he can create his shot a little bit, from the three-point line. He's a guy who you can put in the corners or put on the wings, and he can really just, shoot the ball at a good percentage around. I can expect if he gets traded to the Sixers, I could expect like a 38% to 40% three-point shooter, shooting a lot from the corners and the wings. So Eric Gordon's gonna bring that every single night. I can see him bringing 12 points, per game, or not, maybe not, maybe like 10 points per game, here and there, coming off the bench, and that's what I would love. That's what I love. Or, you know, if he's starting at that three role, I would not be surprised if that happens either. Also, too, another guy, PJ Tucker, who was with the Miami Heat, but did play with James Harden in his time with Houston as well. PJ Tucker, we all know who he's going to bring to the Sixers if he is indeed signing here. Obviously, the grit, the defense, he's just going to bring it. And the rumors are, these are not true, these are rumors. So everything I'm saying right now, I want to put a rumor tag in front of it because nothing's true here. But the rumor is the Sixers are planning to give him a 3-year deal worth $37 million. So, I mean, for a guy like PJ Tucker, who's going to kind of be that enforcer, that grit defender guy who literally shoots threes from the corners, that's going to be something the Sixers need. That's going to be something the Sixers need. Obviously, you guys see what he was trying to be a menace in, what was it, Game 3 against the Sixers this playoff. So, you know what he's going to bring. You see what he did trying to guard Kevin Durant, trying to give him a hard time. And that's what he's going to do, That's PJ Tucker. And, him being here will be perfect. It would literally be perfect. So that's what I love about PJ Tucker potentially coming here, is the grit that he brings to the table. And, that's something we need too. Embiid said at his, I want to say it was his final press conference basically of the year, that this team needed some dogs, or this team needed a little bit more grit, something in that like category. Don't quote me on that, but that's what I believe was said in that tone. And I agree. I agree with that statement. I agree with that tone. I agree that this team needs a little bit more fight. They need a little bit more energy. When this team, is in big games and stuff, especially last season, we seemed a little bit like nonchalant, like kind of just like, oh, whatever, just kind of like dry. PJ Tucker is going to bring that energy. He's going to bring it. Win, lose, or draw, he's going to bring whatever he can to the table. He helped the Bucks win a championship, and a lot of it was because of the grit and the stuff he brought to the table, And PJ Tucker, a lot of people, might clown on him and joke on him about, oh, he got cooked by Kevin Durant in the playoffs a few years ago. Kevin Durant had 40-point game, 48 whatever point games against him, and that's not necessarily the plan. Yes, he's gonna play good defense, but what PJ Tucker is, he knows good players that he's going to defend. He knows they're going to get theirs. Great players, no matter the defense, if you're a great player, if you're a superstar like Kevin Durant is, you're going to get yours one way or another, right? That's just how it is. If you're that great, if you're that elite, that's how you're going to be. It's all about making that as hard as possible, making them work as hard as possible, tiring them out, make them have to fight extra hard. Because in a playoff series, that wears down a player. And then when you get to Game 7 situations where your team needs you the absolute most, you're going to be tired, you're going to be drained, you're going to be gasping for air. And that is what the Sixers kind of have never had in a Joel Embiid tenure. And that's something we're going to need. So these two guys, when you talk about Eric Gordon bringing that shooting ability, obviously this team is going to need spacing because Embiid is here. But I feel like we did a decent job spacing last year. Even before the Harden trade, I feel like the spacing was as best as it was, obviously, because Ben Simmons was in here. And that's no diss to Ben Simmons. It's just the spacing wasn't good when he was here. So this team, we could use a little bit more spacing here. Obviously, losing Danny Green, so Eric Gordon would be a good fit for that. And then PJ Tucker, he's gonna bring that grit, like I just explained to you for the last few minutes. So these two guys, man, the Sixers, if they're really gonna go after them, they gotta get them, because these two guys can really help us in deep playoff runs. Because when you look at the 76ers, no matter the seeding, the record, this Sixer team is built to make the playoffs. And I say make the playoffs. This team is built to have a great regular season. We've had good regular season the last few years. We were the 1 seed last season. This past season, we were, the 4 seed or 5, whatever, right? This team is destined to just be a top 4, top 3 team in the Eastern Conference, because we are that good of a roster. But when it comes to the playoffs, when it's more than just the skill you have on your roster, or it's more than just you having an MVP level player, it's other things to the game that you need. Maybe that extra floor spacing or maybe that extra grit, that toughness that PJ Tucker can bring. That is stuff that you need that could help you propel you into the playoffs because this team has had a constant has a constant pattern of losing in the second round. And obviously, Joel Embiid, he's an amazing talent. His prime is, I mean, it's not going to be here forever. We're not going to have him for like 10 to 20 more years, right? I mean, realistically, this is just my opinion. You guys could disagree, but I think you got a good 4 to 5 years of good Joel Embiid basketball, right? He's like, what, 29 years old right now. You got until he's like 34, and then when you start seeing, little subtle decline, rather it be he's getting older, he's had, knee injuries and stuff. So, and I hope that Joel Embiid can be in his prime until he's like 40. I hope we can have like a LeBron James situation where he's in his 17th year and the age 39 and he's still putting up, great numbers and doing great things. But realistically, in my opinion, Joel Embiid, you got a good 4 to 5 years out of him. 3 years of playing like an MVP. Then the 4th and 5th year, he's still going to be an all-star level player. He's still going to be that guy. So that's my opinion. And I think you got this window right here of the rest of Embiid's prime to win a championship. You got to make these types of moves right here to win now. And also, too, man, it's not like you're going to be sacrificing your future for these guys, right? Because you're still going to have Tyrese Maxey on the team. Tyrese Maxey is the future. Once Joel Embiid starts to settle down and become older and become that veteran type of guy who's more veteran presence than, a superstar type of player, once, James Harden is fully, like, just 100% completely done, then that's when Tyrese Maxey comes in. So it's not like you guys have no future as well. Speaking from the Sixers perspective, we have a future here. We have Tyrese Maxey who can just do things. And he's going to keep growing. He's going to keep getting better. By the time this team is going to be his, by the time he is the clear-cut number one option, he's going to be ready to spread his wings and go. And I'm ready for it. So, and Tyrese Maxey can still help you win now, too, because you've seen how good of a player he's become. So, Sixers offseason, man, it's been good. It's been great. So far, well, I say it's been good, not great. The Anthony Melton acquisition was good. Hopefully it's a great offseason as it continues. So you guys let me know what you think in the comment section. I was just kind of here rambling about the Sixers here. You guys let me know what y'all think about your favorite team. If you want me to break down another team's offseason, I'll be gladly open to doing so. So you guys can drop teams in the comments. Give me your opinions on the Sixers or your team, whatever the case may be. But ladies and gentlemen, that's it for me today. If you guys want to, be sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you've enjoyed today's video. I'll see you guys for NBA, NFL, and MLB content all summer long, all off-season long. So you guys are not going to be it's not going to be a lack of content from me. So appreciate y'all for being here, man. But that's it for me. Appreciate y'all for liking, commenting, subscribing, all the great things you guys do. And until next time, you've been talking sports with MGNAS. And until next time, I'm out. Goodbye.